Good morning, duelists. Assemble on this Schmidtwoch and Valentine's Day as well. we're gonna be spending half of it together. What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing? How are we doing today? I am getting full comboed. Okay. I don't know what that means. All right. We have a couple things today. The time is actually it's going to be tight today to fit all the things that I want to do, because we also have a podcast to record in a little bit. We have a podcast to record in just a little bit. But I thought that it was a good idea to have a first look at the results from the first weekend of Phantom Nightmare format finally. You know, people have been asking me all week what I think of this or that deck performing, and so we're going to do that in a little bit. Shadow of Malice, thank you for the 8 months. Appreciate your prime. Thank you. Hi Josh, right on time. I think I found my new love, Goaty Runic. It's so fun to play, and I think it's the best Runic version in the meta due to banishing. I haven't actually taken a look at it, but I do plan on having some experiments as well for the upcoming format at some point in the next couple weeks. Maybe the best way we go about it is tomorrow we spend the day building some more experimental decks for the new format. You know, like we can I'm thinking we can update the fire lists and the voice list maybe that I've been using with what we've learned on Monday. And then also take a look at some other decks that you might want to play. Like, people have been asking me about, you know, what about Runic Snake Eyes? What about Goatee Runic? What about some other stuff that came out in Phantom Nightmare? And we could do that. We could do that tomorrow, update some deck lists that I have, and then have another remote duel stream next week. I think that sounds good. That sounds good. I mean, I have a hard time imagining, like, I mean, Snake Eyes is kind of like, the Snake Eyes engine is kind of interesting in that way that you can probably throw it into a lot of different decks and they're going to be, you know, that's going to be good no matter what you do. Like, it's hard for any deck to become worse if you add Snake Eyes into it like that. Yeah. Speaking of Runic Snake Eyes, what do you think of it in Master Duel? I mean, it's going to be a little bit worse. I guess, okay, on the one hand, it would be worse than the TCG because the runics are so heavily hit in Master Duel. On another note, though, it does have some advantages over other decks in Master Duel as well. Like, for example, I think Runic Snake Eye is one of the decks where you don't suffer so much from Bonfire not being there. Thank you for the bits. I mean, I don't think it's that serious, but yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because the bid alert seems low. Yeah, it's low. I apologize. I didn't realize the problem was some people told me that my text to speech was relatively low on the bits and the donos. So I turned it up, but that made the sub alerts just way too loud. So I need to go in. I need to go deeper in the settings and make them individually more, you know, louder, which I haven't done yet. But yeah, I will do it though. What I wanted to say was, I feel like if you could play a deck in general where you have a lot of cards that you can send for Snake Eye, Oak, and Ash to the graveyard, like face-up cards, right? You could potentially play more copies of Oak to make up for the lack of Bonfire in Master Duel. Have you read the comments on that vid? It's hilarious. I've read some of them, but for the most part, it's not like For the most part, it was just meant to give my opinion out. Like I think that's a topic in general, like power level, power creep, tier 0, those kind of things. They're just they are topics that are very, very polarizing. Like it's very hard to convince people. So the only thing I can do is give some context to why I have the opinions that I do have. And if that doesn't convince people, it's kind of, it's okay like that, you know. I'm just presenting my perspective, and if they choose to respect it or not is a whole different topic. You know, it's not something I can influence. Like if someone wants to ignore all the arguments that I make and just scream like, yeah, deck broken, I'm gonna quit the game, then go ahead. You know, it's whatever. Okay. That being said, we have the podcast with Mr. Wawa in less than an hour. So let's get this Phantom Nightmare first week of regional recap going. First of all, we're going to do the warm-up. And then we're going to have some time to look at some deck lists. All right. Let us begin. That's an X-Saber. It's not Airbellum, is it? X-Saber. It's not Anopi. It might be Urus. No. Souza? It's one of the bad ones, I'm pretty sure. It is Souza. Ooh, is that a reptilian? Oh no, that's the magician, the purple poison. Yep. Ooh, that's an edge imp. Edge imp, but it's, I think it's saw. Wait, is it chain? Oh, it's just chain. Okay, for some reason I thought it wasn't chain. It looks like a chain, but yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it wasn't chain. Ooh, that's is it this Colosseum? Yeah. This looks very familiar. I don't even want to zoom anymore. Odd Eyes Gravity? Odd Eyes Gravity. That, yeah, that's it. Ah, Wing Wind Blast. No, I zoomed. Oh no. I didn't need the second zoom. Too late, you click. What the hell is that? Oh, that's a Dark Lord. Yeah, it's this one. That's Confiscation. I feel like I've seen this, but I'm not sure what it's called. Midamore Fortress. Okay. That's Charles, right? Yeah. I'm not sure what that is. It's got Banshee on it. It's not Banshee itself though. Maybe it's not even that. Necro Quip Prism. I think that's Banshee on it, but I don't know. I didn't know that card. What is this? Fenrir? Is it Fenrir the Nordic Wolf? Yeah. That's Heavy Storm. This is, oh, that's the kaiju. Jizukiru? Yeah. Infernoble Flame Swordsman? There's so many other decks I want to build before that. I'm not that hyped about Flame Swordsman, but maybe. Oh. Super Rush? Headlong. Yeah. Duel Links card. Very early days Duel Links card. Earthbound Immortal. Which one is that? Earthbound Immortal. Don't know which one that is. Is that Uru? It is Uru. That's Underclock. Okay, that, ooh, that's something Infinity Max. No, not Soul Energy. Zero Max. That's the one. Zero. Oh, okay. Hold up. Zero. This one, like this. Okay. Yeah. The Infernity spell that isn't an Infernity. Oh, that's the Samurai Trap card. The armor. Swift armor. Swift Strike armor? No, Swift Strike. Yeah, that's the one. Yep. Okay, here we got... I don't think I know this one. No. VODs. Oh, I've seen that one. Is that this one? Please be this one. Yes. Okay, nice. Riolu, thank you for the 8 months. It's not time. It's not quite time for that message yet, but okay. We're on good pace, actually. I don't feel like I deserve that. Is that Zombina or Zombino? Nice. Okay. Is that Cyberdark? Cyberdark Edge. I feel like that is, yep. Zamio, thank you for the 6 months. That's a Zodiac. Which one is that? Again, Kata Roost? It's Kata Roost, okay. Oh, that looks very familiar. Wait, isn't that the Nephthys? That is a Nephthys card, I think. Nephthys. It's a Link monster, but what is it called? Sacred Phoenix? No, Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys is the original. Sacred Preserver? No. I'm gonna skip it. I didn't know there was that many Nephthys. It's the Sacred Flame. Okay, well. Well, that's Stromberg. I might have seen this one. Falling Current. Okay, that's literally just the color green. Give me less information, please. Ooh, that's another Earthbound. I think. No, I swear I thought it was that one. It is an Earthbound though. Earthbound Immortal Kusilu? No. God damn it. We lost so much unnecessary time on that. Which one is it? That's exactly the one that I thought it was. Oh, there's two that start with double C. No, that's just not fair. That's just not fair. This is something Joanne. I think Noble Knight Joan? No, Saint Joan. Saint Joan. It's Asa. I think that's Asa the Earth Channeler? No. Possessed? Okay, possessed. Wait, is that Soza again? No. Is this X-Saber? Is that Urus this time? No, I don't know. Just give me the meta X-Saber ones, come on. I know like 90% of them. Pentastag. U-Bell Stage 2. Terror Incarnate. 1000 Dragon. Wait, what? 100 Dragon? 100 Dragon. Of course it's not 1000 Dragon. I'm dumb. That's the fusion. Is that Waking? I think it's Waking. Yeah. Worm C. Millennium Scorpion? Come on. Then it's Delta 3? No. That is what I thought it was. I know the artwork. I thought it was called... Oh, it's Fiend Scorpion. Okay. Unfortunate. Who are you? Is that Magic Cat again? Yep. This is Rex. Ooh, that's a Scareclaw. But oh god. No. Scareclaw, what? Oh no, wait, that's Big Bang. Yeah, no, you're right. It's Cashier Big Bang. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Who is that? I've seen this guy. That is like it's like an evil swarm. Oh no, we played that yesterday. That's a TG. My bad. Probably last. Thank you for 9 months. This one I straight up have no idea. Megaroid City, yeah. I don't know this one either, I think. Maple Maiden. Come on, give me some bangers. We're choking the second half. Oh, that's the Ignis. Oh god. Wait, which one is it? I thought it was the Pendulum. It's the Draco, okay. What the hell is that? No shot. Dude, I thought we were on such good pace. Trickstar? Holy Angel? Yeah. Is that Flower Bot? Yeah, okay. Ooh, that's the giant bee trooper. Something Atlas. Okay, thank God. Wait, what? Hercules? What? Am I being baited? Which one is that? Oh, Neptune. That's the one. Damn it. This is like Skeletal Felgrand. Or is it original Felgrand? No, I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Well, 859 is not bad. It could have been better. The first half was pretty good. I think we were on a pace for 4 digits in the first half. The second half was a little harder. Wait. We got some baits in there. The Bee Trooper baited me for some time. The Ignis baited me for some time. Yeah, the Scorpion also. That was honestly around where 1,000 could have been possible. Well, it's still not bad. It's not a wash situation. Come on. The TG one was free with the event. I mean, to be honest, in my defense, I spent more time looking at the card text yesterday than looking at the actual images. Like, it was definitely an angle where I didn't have time to check out the images on the artwork. You know, that was the least of my concern yesterday when I played the TG loner, because I had no idea what any of the cards did. Ooh. We're looking at a level 4 warrior effect monster from back in the day. High attack, low defense. What about a Stratos angle? Not Stratos. Okay. Attack 1600 or 1700. Less than 300 defense. Okay. And it's not a wind or a dark. Diamond Dude's 1400 attack. It's not 16 or 17. It's not a dark, guys. It's not a dark. So it cannot be like Greffer or anything like that. Deneb is 1500, but it could be Altair. No, too much defense. Teller Knights. Let me check Teller Knights. Less than 300 defense. Doesn't look like it can be a Teller Knight. Medrot. Too much defense. Noble. It could be some Noble Knight. There's probably one where the stats fit. Wait, can it even be? Oh yeah, it's a warrior, of course. Less than 300 defense. Can't find one. Pollux. Too much defense. Level 4 warriors, like maybe what are all these stats of the 6 samurais? Okay, Iru, too much. Iru's a dark anyways. Sanji, too much attack and too much defense. Nizashi, no. Kizaru, no. Kizan's too big. Batlin Boxer. This one's too big. Okay. The level 4 Lightsworn warriors. Geroth is too big. Jane is too big. Aaron? What's the defense on Aaron? Too much defense. Aaron would have been a good guess otherwise. Jero, thank you for the 17 months and congrats on the 2nd place. Well done. Peridor. No, that's too much attack. Heroic? Dude, this one's tough. Let me narrow down the year a little bit more. I'm gonna try to narrow down the year a little bit more by doing like let me just pick an earth monster from like 2012 or 2013. So like I'm throwing Reactan at it just to see if it's an earth and the year. Okay. It is even older than Reactan. So it's between 2008 and 2012, and it's also not an earth monster, so we can stop thinking about earth monsters. Freed? No, Freed is like way older than that. Ice Barrier Warriors? Ice Barrier. Warrior. Spellcaster. Warrior. Raiden for everything but defense. I mean, Raiden the year also just can't be it anymore. I'm gonna narrow down the year even more. Let's let someone name a light monster from 2010. Or like this is 2010. It's a light monster and it has 0 defense. And it's from 2011 or 2012. It's a level 4 light. It's a level 4 light monster from 2011 or 2012 with 0 defense and like 16 or 1700 attack. Photon? I mean, it can't be Photon Thrasher, but there's other photons. No. No. No, no. No. Dude, I can't think of this card. Tasuke? You say 100%. And when you say 100%, have you included the idea that 100 defense does not equal 0 defense? When you said 100% Task Knight. Daybreaker? What the hell is a Daybreaker? Okay, I was never gonna get that. I've seen this before because I've pulled it. I think this was a rare in Photon Shockwave, but like I was never going to guess Daybreaker. There's no shot I was gonna get that one. There's no shot I was gonna get that one. Okay, I need to go to the toilet really quick. I forgot to go before the stream. And then we will be spreadsheet gamers once again, finally. I also made a new command for the updated spreadsheet. Exclamation mark spreadsheet, obviously. I'll be right back. We back. Don't scatter. Hey. Okay. We are a little bit low on time today because we also need to fit the podcast into today's stream. But let me tell you about what we're gonna do today. So, as a little bit of a preparation for tomorrow's TCG deck building sort of stream, or like format discussion as well, is gonna be mostly what we're doing tomorrow. I want to take a quick look at the first week of results from Phantom Nightmare format. It's going to be relatively brief because we have to do the podcast in about half an hour. But I think it's going to be enough to get a brief overview of, you know, how dominant was Snake Eye actually over the first week of Phantom Nightmare regionals and stuff like that. You know, maybe we have the time to check out one or the other deck list also of decks that are not fire decks that managed to perform. Because at first glance, I'm seeing obviously the fire decks represented in large numbers, but there's also some other stuff that's worth looking at. So let's just move over to the spreadsheet as usual. Shout outs to, I believe this one is managed by Super Peludo. And obviously it's a great resource. If you want to get access to the spreadsheet, you can go !spreadsheet. If there's anything that we don't manage to do today because due to the lack of time, we're gonna do it we can do some catch up with it tomorrow as well. And then once the podcast is done for the rest of the stream, which is probably going to be another like 1 or 2 hours, we're just gonna jam some fire deck on Master Duel as well later. So there's a little bit of everything today, a little bit for everybody. We're doing some TCG talk, we're doing some podcasting, we're doing some Master Duel later. So just a little bit of everything I felt like was a good idea for today. And then tomorrow we're going to do some TCG deck building and TCG format discussion as well. That being said, first week of fire format, let's just call it that. Let's just call it that for now. First week of fire format, we have the week 6 top breakdown here over on the right side. And it's a lot of fire. I'll say that. I'll say that much. Keeping in mind as well that the fire deck just came out like on Thursday last week before these tournaments happened. The fire stuff was released, right? So there's even a chance that some people weren't able to play the fire decks because they haven't picked up the cards yet, right? So I think it's pretty impressive. We're looking at 33% Fire Kings, and this is just the top cut, right? This is not even the overall representation in the tournaments. This is the people that managed to get to the top spots, right? And I assume that the overall representation was a little bit lower than that, right? Because I don't think everyone was able to. I don't think 33% of the format or of the people that enter the tournament were able to bring the fire deck, you know, because the deck is relatively pricey and the cards just came out, which indicates that the deck's putting up a pretty significant conversion rate, in my opinion. Like, the fact that it's able to perform at such large numbers is quite impressive. And as well, like 33% Fire King, that's just the Fire King variations. We've got almost 10% for Snake Eyes as well. And I'm assuming that over here on the left side, we've got 4% Rescue Ace 2, which is a total of almost 50%. We're totaling almost 50% fire decks in the top spots at regionals in the first weekend of the format, which is very strong. Whether that is tier 0 numbers to you or not, I think by definition that wouldn't make it tier 0. I don't think it matters though. I think by my definition that makes it by far the best deck in the format, and I think that's what counts. We're going to take a look at an example list in a second. I don't want to turn this into a, you know, looking at 10 different fire decks kind of segment, you know, because that's a segment for another day. Like if we ever do an in-depth building a Fire King Snake Eye deck stream, then I might look at different variations of the deck and all that kind of stuff, discuss different tech options. For now, I think having a look at like one example list at one regional is going to be sufficient. But yeah, unsurprisingly, Fire King Snake Eye is the most dominant deck. This was to be expected. Whether the deck is actually better than pure Snake Eye is something that remains to be seen, in my opinion, because I think because it's the most dominant version in the OCG, I think it's just more people were playing the Fire King, because that's where people start usually in this format. I think that's where people start testing or playing Fire decks, is they play with the full Fire King package. So I think Fire King getting a higher top cut representation makes sense. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better than pure Snake Eye, because I think it was also played in much larger numbers. Moving that to the side real quick, because obviously the Fire decks were expected. The decks that were actually like able to perform in decent numbers, like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, you can definitely say like, okay, decks like Vanquish Soul, decks like Dragon Link, decks like Pearly, decks like Tearlament, they definitely fell off towards this format. And you have some others in here as well, like, you know, you look at Centurion, Chimera, Stun, or like whatever, like all these like over here, they've all fallen off quite significantly. I will say for something like Kashtira or Branded, this is not that much of a fall off from last format to this format, because you wouldn't expect larger numbers from Kashtira previously to Phantom Nightmare drop beforehand. Like you look at this one is the total tops in the last 6 weeks, which you see that Kashtira overall averages an 8% top cut representation over the last 6 weeks. And it's stayed exactly the same this week, essentially, right? So in that sense, for some rogue decks, for some non-fire decks, it hasn't really changed that much yet in terms of its representation. Because like the Kashtira deck kind of functions the same as before, you know, like you're still a shifter deck. You're still, you know, doing the same thing as you were doing before. So it's just a matter of some rogue decks can deal with the fire decks better than others. And another one worth mentioning when we talk about that is Branded, which had a 6.3% top cut representation. This is among like, I think this is collecting over, yeah, this has like almost 180 regional top cut decks. So it's actually a pretty significant number of, like, the data is pretty solid in this one. 6.3% Branded, which is even slightly above its average representation in 6 weeks. Branded is another deck that, while I personally don't think it's that great this format, it is one of the decks that actually, if your Branded Fusion resolves, it has the grind game to keep up with the fire decks at some point. Like I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, almost all of these decks, if they want to beat Fire King, they have to stop Fire King in their tracks, right? With hand traps and stuff like that, or Shifter. The only deck that can somewhat go toe-to-toe with Fire King, in my opinion, would be Branded, if the Branded Fusion resolves, right? Like it's I'm not saying it has an overall good matchup against the fire decks, but it's reasonable for Branded, I think. So I think that is one takeaway, that you don't necessarily have to play a fire deck to compete. There is other decks that still are competing. The options just got a lot narrower, I think. Like, it's not like the previous formats where you had a large pie chart of decks to choose from with similar representation in top cuts. Like, it was like, you know, 10% this, 10% that, 8% this, 8% that. It's not like that anymore, simply because Fire King takes up a much larger piece of the pie. But for some decks, it still works like this, you know, like you don't have, if you're not playing a fire deck and you want to have something that can compete, you're not looking at like 10 different options anymore. It's more like 2 or 3 at this point. We're more looking like I think it's going to look more like a 4 to 5 deck format, where fire decks are going to take a large portion of the format, and then you have some other valid rogue options. And Kashtira and Branded being the two that have been performing the best in the first week for sure. And then, I mean, honorary mention definitely goes to Voiceless Voice, which has been performing. I mean, it's behind Fire King and at the same level of Kashtira. It's basically the second best performing deck next to the Fire decks, which is solid. The deck is solid. I think it's been doing great in the first week for what it's worth. Whether this is due to it being kind of like, I have a hard time calling it a budget deck, but when you're comparing it to Snake Eye, almost everything feels like a budget deck. It's kind of like the one where I feel like a lot of people are pivoting towards it for a couple of reasons, maybe a couple of reasons combined. It's a new deck, right? And people enjoy trying new things, right? It's relatively easy to pick up and play, especially on the first weekend when it came out. Like it was like you need to practice it a little bit, but once you get the hang of it, I'm pretty sure it's relatively it's easier to play than other decks. Let's say it like that. It's not easy per se, but it's easier than other stuff. And it is also, for being a new viable strategy, it is relatively cheap. Because I mean, you pick up the Novox, or the low rather. The low is expensive, but if you compare it to other top decks in the format right now, I think it's reasonable. And also, technically, even though it's advised that you play SP Little Knight in it, it is technically possible to play it without Little Knight, I think. So that it's got that going for it as well. So it's definitely solid. It's definitely solid for the first week. That being said, let me take a look at just, I'm assuming that for the Fire King Snake Eye, I have opened the profile that won a regional. It's only 7 minutes. I want to take a quick look at it. I'm going into this with the expectation that it is relatively close to what people have been doing in the OCG. Nonetheless, I want to take a quick look at it. Maybe there's something in there. Also, even if it is standard, it's good to realize that at the moment, people are doing the more standard things, right?
Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakuraso here. Come at you guys with the first place, Rosemont, Illinois. And what did you play today?
Fire King.
Fire
Nice.
King. And you got first place. That's
Yep.
amazing.
Oh yeah, no problem. Easy.
All right. So let's just get right into it. Any shout outs you want to do? Anything like that?
Shout out to all my testing buddies, the Dino Daddy, Ashley, Angel.
Easy.
You should have played my build. Your build sucked. Still.
All right.
With all the homies.
This mat looks gorgeous, by the way. I love this mat.
I can't wait to ruin it.
Hey, yo.
Okay, that was kind of sus. Why did you say that?
In what way?
Don't ask. That's for after Dark Deck profiles.
Oh.
That's for the OnlyFans.
It's gonna be a mess,
Finally.
man.
Dark deck profiles, finally.
Anyways, let's just get into it.
Yep.
I'm gonna start off with the worst. Car sucks. I'm never playing it again. It was put in my deck because I was holding it in my hand. Elijah told me to. So it put me round one. I played against heroes, so I guess it did what it was supposed to do.
1-0.
So I don't know. It's fine. It stops people from getting to the Fire King stuff. So
Droll is in a weird spot right now because it's not as auto win against fire decks than what people may have expected before the format started. I still think it has some merit. I think it's an okay card for sure if you're playing a hand trap based deck.
if you like open up this in a power spell, you're fine.
Yep.
Every other hand trap sucks.
It's basically it doesn't stop them from doing everything, but it does stop a decent portion of it. Like you can't expect this card to auto win against the deck, but it's fine.
That can go away. Fire King cards. One. That's way too many. 1 and 1.
This is the exact minimum that people have gravitated towards in the OCG as well. This is to be expected. This is the exact minimum lineup that you can expect from Fire King. Usually there's one more like Circle or Skyburn.
Every game I sided down the 1. I was taking 2 out. I'm gonna play 2. It was just like literally unnecessary. You only need 1. You play Doolittle. You can keep recycling it.
Yep.
I just want to play as less of these cards as possible because drawing.
I actually think that Kirin is it's a fair point. You don't technically need triple Kirin to pull off all the things that the deck can do. Like, it's not necessary. The reason you play 3 is because you want to draw it. So if you feel like it's not good when you draw it, then you should cut down to 1 or 2, depending on if you need 1. It depends on your lines, I'm pretty sure. There's lines that require 2, but if you don't go for those, then 1 might be even okay. I think as long as people are on Droll and not Droll, as long as people are on Imperm and Veiler, though, I think that card should be played at 3. Like, that's one of those situations where you have to make a meta call, right? Like, if everyone is playing 3 Kirin and Veiler and Imperm feel kind of like a gamble, and then people might take out Imperm and Veiler at some point, and then you can cut down on Kirins as well.
It makes me feel miserable.
Understandable.
2 of the Parasite. I was told these were named after trees. I don't think this one's named after a tree. This is pretty standard.
It is.
You play 2 of this if you're playing pure.
Flamberge Dragon is my favorite tree.
If you're playing pure, you're playing the wrong build.
All right.
The one Flamberge, by the way, in general, I think for the Fire King Snake Eye deck, if I had to point out any weakness of the deck, which is hard because the deck is very, very good all around, I think if you had to pinpoint one weakness, it would be that because it's trying to pack both engines together into one deck, it doesn't have the room to play really multiples of a couple of key cards, right? Like you only have 1 Garunix, 1 Flamberge, 1 Oak, all of that, right? Usually one of the Sinful spell as well, like all of those things, right? You only get room for 1. I think that could be one angle where you could tackle the matchup because it doesn't end on any Omni Negates. So currently the most popular way that people stop the deck is just throw hand traps at it, right? But if you were to build a deck with a different approach when you try to go second against the deck, like maybe I could see like you can play stuff like Soul Release, you can play stuff like DD Crow, right? And just go for, I'm going to try to banish a lot of your crucial one-ofs, you know, like your one of Promethean, one of Flamberge, one of Garunix and stuff like that. Maybe there's a world that gets you there. The problem is you still have to find a way to enter into a grind game even, right? Like, because they still are going to end on some sort of board. But I think that could be an interesting way to approach beating this deck in particular. The problem with that is that it won't work as well against other versions of the deck because the pure Snake Eye deck is going to have like 2 copies of Flamberge, and then if you just let them combo and try to banish their stuff, it's not going to work.
3 more Snake Eye monsters.
DD Crow feels super strong this format, good versus Fire deck and Lab. I mean, DD Crow does feel good. I agree with you. The problem that I had with DD Crow, initially when we tested on Monday, I had DD Crow in my deck instead of Droll Lockbird in the because I played pure Snake Eye on Monday and I played, what was it? I think it was 18 hand traps, and I was planning on using DD Crow at first, but then I realized it doesn't really make sense for me to have DD Crow because I'm playing so many hand traps. I'm trying to stop my opponent from getting to a point where I can really DD Crow them, right? Because DD Crow usually comes into play later on in the combos, right? Like you have to let your opponent play for a little bit before DD Crow gets value, right? So if I'm trying to Imperm, Veiler, Droll my opponent, DD Crow might be kind of like, it's not a situation where if you draw Imperm and Crow together, that's great for you, right? So I feel like you would have to rework the entire process. Like another card that I can see being great in that sort of environment would be Phantasme, right? Because Phantasme, you can just Phantasme, if you let them play, Phantasme can consistently, you know, you can consistently like draw into your, I don't know, Soul Releases, DD Crows and all that. If you let them play, they always link summon and all that. I think that'd be an interesting way to approach the matchup.
2 Diablo, 1-1, 3 wanted.
Yeah,
this is like the best card in the deck.
The Divine Temple of the Snake Eye in Fire King is a rare sight, I feel like, or it used to be a rare sight. I have noticed that it is a trend in recent days, at least. I've been trying to keep up with what people are doing, and this seems to be something that I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a kind of thing that Nesh and Pack popularized. That's what I heard, or where I saw it first. is that and it's another, I noticed it too, right? We were sitting here learning the Snake Eye lines, and for pure Snake Eye, there was a really cool combo to play around Nibiru, including the Temple. And then I was like, okay, in Fire King, it seems to be a little bit harder to play around Nib. So what if you also play the Temple in Fire King? Then you also have that line available. And it seems to be something that people have been adapting and trying. Obviously, there's some counter synergy there between Temple and Fire King Island, so you have to like you have to sequence your plays accordingly, and sometimes it can be awkward. But the Temple is just a really good card in general, regardless which deck you're playing.
See if you cut this to 2 over Bonfire. I don't know who would do that. This card is nuts going second. I know. This card is insane going second.
How does Temple help you play around Nib if you're only maining 1 Flamberge? That is a good question. Off the top of my head, I would have to go through some of the lines. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I believe the line that I went through in pure Snake Eye was using 2 Flamberge. You can put Oak maybe, and then just go for Flamberge on the board, and then if your opponent nibs, you get Oak to bring back level 1 and at least get 3 bodies onto the board. Right? Because you would have the nib token, Oak, and the revive from Oak. And then you would have, you would be able to, you know, do some stuff, right? Did he play Oak? I mean, yeah, he did play Oak. You play 1 Oak always. There's, I have not seen a list that doesn't play at least 1 Oak.
Helps you break boards. It just gives you so many resources, and if your board gets broken, it can just sit on the board and it's just free grind.
Yep.
I wanted to play 2 of these. I was
It's right there. It's this little guy over here. This is the corner of Oak.
playing 1, but I just getting impermed and having this just makes
You guys have
I've seen OCG lists without Oak. I mean, maybe. I'm not aware. It doesn't seem very common.
haven't liked
to
the
not
video
play
yet,
Oak.
go ahead, smash that like button.
time for the non-engine.
Yep.
3 talents, 3 econ,
Ooh.
3 droplet.
I really like how it's all max rarity, and then you just have the rare enemy controllers.
This is max.
Dude, rare enemy controller looks insane though, to be fair. Like the ulti is also nice, but rare is sick. Interesting. Right off the bat, I was expecting to show me the standard 12 hand traps, but no, we've got droplet, econ, and talents in here. I like that. I like that a lot. Or like, I mean, I'm not sure if I like it better than hand traps, but like I like the experimentation for sure. It's cool. One thing in particular that I want to mention when it comes to swapping away from a hand trap approach to a other non-engine approach, let's just call it like other non-engine. I thought about this, and one issue that I had in my head was the deck's end board, while it is like a strong end board, if you don't pair it with any hand traps, it actually is quite breakable, right? It actually is quite breakable if you end on the standard end board, no hand traps. If your opponent is playing a competent deck in the next format, like, you know, it's actually, it might be a problem. Which they attempt to fix with cards like, you know, they're trying Enemy and Droplet, which are cards that you can set, of course. Because when I was thinking about, like, you could play a board breaker approach with, like, Talents and Thrust and all that. But then if you go first and you make your board and your opponent plays into it, you might not be able to, you know, defend yourself. Here you have good set cards.
Everyone wants to summon Appaloosa, so I love it when my opponent gives me 4 negates. But like hand traps don't.
It is crazy if you can Enemy or Talents take an Appaloosa. That is crazy. I genuinely, most of the time when I've played so far, I have preferred going for SP Little Knight for pretty much that reason. Like whenever I'm making Appaloosa with this deck, I feel like I'm just gonna get my head smashed in by Talents. So I've been making SP because SP seems like, I mean, SP is 2 forms of interaction as well. Lets you keep some more bodies onto the board as opposed to Appaloosa. And I mean, Appaloosa is good and it's probably an option that you still should be playing. But I've been liking going for SP a lot because I've been very afraid of Talents every time. But
do anything. My opponent, it doesn't matter.
If you make it going first, I agree. If you make it going first, it's fine. Like you make like a 2 material Appaloosa to play around Nib, that's good. That one's also not that devastating if it gets stolen by like Talents, because you have like, let's say you use it once, it's got 800 attack left, they take it, whatever. But if you make if you commit into a big apple with IP Masquerena, like it's more annoying.
How many negates you set up. If I open up like one of these, I'm just OTKing you through your board. These cards felt really smooth.
This build hard loses to anti-spell. Not wrong. At the same time, I don't think that's an entire argument against it. Like, anti-spell's annoying, but I mean, anti-spell beats most decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways. Like, yeah, okay. If you imperm Veiler your opponent and then they flip anti-spell, then it's not as bad. To be fair though, like most of the time you would still lose to it. Like, yeah. We're starting now. Give me like 4 minutes to finish this profile and then I'm ready.
They're like guaranteed. Hand traps aren't guaranteed. You're just playing a mini game if you draw the 2 correct hand traps. Drawing 1 hand trap doesn't do anything.
Yep.
And then droplet stops you from getting gimmick puppeted.
I'll speed it up for you.
Call by. This is really just for going second hand princess, so I can screw up and try to use my own princess under it.
Yep.
1 for 1. I side that out all the time. And then monster reborn. This card's crazy. It goes second. You just take an interaction from their board and you extend your game state, or you get nibbed and then your opponent just is not happy. I don't know. Pretty self-explanatory.
Reborn is cool. I thought about Reborn to take away their princess. My problem with that is you basically have to keep that princess on the board, right? If you don't keep that princess, they get it back. Kabonga, dude.
Someone's a monster from the deck.
All right, 40 main deck?
Yeah, 40.
All right.
Any more than that is wrong.
Yep.
Link Karibo. This card's great. I couldn't count on.
I feel like we can speed 3 actually.
How many times I've misplayed an econ into this card because I'm stupid. So, but that just tells me my build's really strong because I played poorly and won.
Yep.
Doolittle. This card's crazy. More the reason to drop on a Kieran because this is.
I need to look in. I need to look into the lines with Doolittle Chimera. I'm not familiar with them yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't figured it out yet.
Just like infinite recurrence, and against like non-fire decks, this card just sets you so far ahead because they can't just like SP and this is just wrong. So many other cards SP, so this stuff just falls. Phoenix, this card's crazy. Chain block it, kill island, draw cards. I needed to clear more cards so I can OTK my opponent. SP doesn't do that.
Yep.
Can't afford a second SP. Self-explanatory, adds fires. Actually, I didn't summon this once.
Really?
I tried to summon it once and I screwed up my combo because I don't play other cards. I'm not playing Heat Soul because I'm not drawing in the hand traps. I want to draw in the spells on my opponent's turn. So I screwed up my combo summoning this, so I just stopped summoning all day long. Play these. This is going to be a second one of those. Yeah, that card.
Second Hida?
Unicorn, this card's crazy.
That's outrageous.
Time I summoned it, my opponent just like their eyes popped out of their head. 2 princess, plays around nib.
Yep.
The best package in the game, these 3 homies. This card's insane. If you're not playing this in your deck, I don't know. Every match was just won because of this card. You draw me.
Yeah, Phoenix Atlantis is mandatory.
I'm not making Appaloosa. I like get talent. I thought people would be playing good builds of this deck, but they just weren't. They're playing hand traps, so I probably could have played Appaloosa. But
No Appaloosa. We talked about that. We talked about it. I think it's reasonable. I still think as an option to play around Nibiru, it'd be good, but I don't completely disagree. No Fire King Exceed, I think, is a little sus, but no. All right, but I'm sorry, we need to skip through this. We need to get the podcast going. Mr. Farfa is already waiting. Let me get that ready. And we can later on, we can either continue doing this if you guys want to, or we can move it to tomorrow. I'll see what we do later. But we need to get the podcast going. Okay, hold up. Let me see if Farfa is ready.
Late.
Not that late.
It's late, chat.
Okay.
I am joining a thing somewhere, I believe. 1 sec. You know, I will say, weekly episodes has been really banger. I've been enjoying it a lot, but holy crap, maybe it's just being an adult, but there's just no time for anything.
It's
so much stuff
I am feeling the same way. No, I know what you mean.
Like trying to prepare like visuals and stuff every week and things. Like I just haven't even got around to that yet. I haven't even made an attempt.
I'm gonna show so many visuals today, you won't believe.
It's just chat on the screen the whole
no,
time.
I actually have prepared it. Look, hold up. If we go here, I have a button on my stream deck that shows skill drain. You see that?
Woo!
Barrier.
Let's go.
Foggers.
All right, we've got something.
Oh. Okay, I need to get your camera in somehow. Did we? I forgot. You last time, did we use OBS Ninja for you as well, or was it like, was the camera too bad?
I think we used Discord last time on your stream, didn't we?
I thought so too, and then it just wasn't in any of my scenes, so I figured we must not have, but
I guess not.
anyways, I'll send you an OBS Ninja because that's embedded in all my OBS scenes, and if that works, then that'd be better. Hold up.
Who is Farfa? Spam Wawa right now, chat. I don't know why this has become the standard representation of me when I join a stream.
It's
You guys
weird.
call me a crybaby or
Yeah.
something? Like, is that what it means?
I don't know. I just move along.
Talking about crybaby, this guy made a 25-minute counter debate post about a meme on Twitter.
No,
Talk
it was a
about
good video though.
crybaby. Huh?
It was a good discussion though.
Yeah, I mean, it was fair. It was like 25 minutes long. You could have just said, you know, interactive good, interactive bad, non-interactive.
I mean, that's
bad.
what I did, but for 25 minutes.
For 25 minutes.
Content brain. You need to know how to stretch these things.
Yep.
I've sent you the thingy link.
Yeah, I see it. One sec. I just need to like zoom my camera in a little bit, which is weird because I have to like do it on OBS first. All right, let's go with this.
The toad and the cat are still on the wrong side. Oh, I swapped it on everything except for this one.
Except
For this,
the
it's
intro
swapped.
one, huh?
Yeah, okay. I can swap it on this one too. Hold up. Beep. Beep.
Don't modulate me. Don't modulate me, chat. What does everyone think of Battles of Legend, by the way?
It seems okay.
Yeah, it felt like here's a bunch of like Edison cards, but not like the good ones. Like there's a whole common core of Lightsworn and what's the other deck? Heroes.
I think it's got some really good reprints, but it just doesn't seem like it'd be worth opening it for those
Save it for
reprints
the
still.
cast. Oh, we could maybe talk about Battles of Legend for like a couple minutes, since I guess it's just new news for this week.
Yeah, I don't mind. I just haven't prepared a topic for it, but
We could just do this screen currently.
okay, yeah, sure, okay.
How do you not have me on screen, by the way? I've joined.
Oh yeah, because I've been busy swapping the under the toad and the thingy. Hold up. Copy.
A reprint set at $15 to $16 MSRP, not bad. Is it $15 to $16 for one like box? Man, I couldn't tell you, chat. I don't buy products, so I wouldn't know. Yes, that is Josh. That's Josh right there. Finally.
No.
Yeah. Noted.
Where am I?
You only get 2 packs though. It's a lot of packs, to be fair. You keep trying to like manually edit the scene size instead of
Yeah,
just
you told me how to
Alt.
do it. I forgot.
Just hold the Alt key and then click and drag, and it crops it.
Oh my god, that's so broken.
Wild, huh?
That is actually broken.
Learning OBS freaking combos.
Dude, I'm new to this. That's a crazy line. That plays around everything. Okay.
Yeah, look at that. It's instant. So now I gotta like type in numbers all the time.
Chat, how's
Good
our
work, Granddad.
volumes? How's our volumes compared to each other? Are we about the same volume if we speak like this?
Hello, chat. Good morning.
Volume is good. Okay.
I'm lower apparently.
Well, you are up all the way, so I guess I can turn you up on Discord a little bit. Okay, done.
I could turn my gain up even more, I suppose, here. I sound crappy.
No, that's just
Is that Discord?
no, that's just you.
It's me. Let's see. Might be echo cancellation? I doubt it. It's not. Do I actually sound like the quality's bad, chat, or?
I think they're just referring to like your takes and stuff. I don't know if it's about the quality of the audio.
Oh, shut up! This is important. All right. Try turning Farfa to 0. You're echoing slightly. Okay, let me use my headset thing.
No, if anything,
No, you're
it'd be on
lying.
my
Shut
end.
up, chat. It must be Josh who's echoing.
Yeah, I already turned it down. I already turned it down.
Okay. All right. Wait, big echoey? No, we can't have echo.
No, you're not echoing right now. They're chatting. They're chatting. I can see it on my thing. You're not coming out of my mic thingy.
No, but I think it's when I talk that. Okay, never mind. Yeah, maybe they are chatting.
They are chatting.
All right. Well. Are we good to go?
Yep.
All right. Let's begin in 5, 4, 3. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Right,
Enjoy your Saturday. And
thank you for
see
listening.
You in the next one.
And we'll see or hear each other next week.
All right. I am starving. I'm gonna go have some food.
right.
Sorry about my webcam. I don't know what's going on with it, chat. I have no clue.
I did notice it, but I genuinely don't think it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, on my end here, when I look at the OBS Ninja website, it works perfectly. But when I look at your stream, it just seems to dip some days. I don't know why. But anyway, have a good stream.
right.
I'm gonna go eat. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All right. So let me move over here and let me very quickly just thank some subs that we have gotten while that was going on, because I had sub alerts disabled. Max TCG, thank you for the 6 months. No, 14 months. T-Boy, thank you for the Prime. Ashtifer Gaming, thank you for the 16. And Tyjantic, thank you for the 20. Oh, Nicolo, thank you for the Prime. Leo Skyder HD, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate you guys. And TJ Beluza, just now with the 6 months. Appreciate you. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. I think trap cards are a very convoluted sort of topic. It's very tough to talk about trap cards in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, because I think one thing that I really just I mean I have realized it before, but I kind of have forgotten about it. But the fact that trap cards are basically just by design worse quick play spell cards is kind of weird. Congrats to 50k on YouTube. Oh yeah, I saw this morning we hit 50k on YouTube. Thank you so much for everyone who's been subscribing to the YouTube channel. I was very happy to wake up to 50k on YouTube. I felt very happy this morning. I forgot to tweet about it. New video is ready for after stream, Poggers, the editor putting in the work. So we're gonna have a new video for you guys later as well. Phenomenal day, isn't it? Okay, I was going to play some Master Duel, but I also have gotten my food, so I want to. Why don't we finish what we started earlier before the podcast, and while I also eat my food, we take another look at some deck profiles from the Phantom Nightmare format before we hop into Master Duel, so I can eat my food while it's still somewhat not completely cold. And then we're gonna play some Master Duel after as well. So before we went into the podcast, we were looking at the spreadsheet, exclamation mark spreadsheet, by the way. Exclamation mark spreadsheet if you also want to take a look at some deck lists for the spreadsheet. Shoutouts to Super Peludo for the spreadsheet and all the work that they're doing. If you want to do a podcast on coverage, growing the player base from a marketing perspective, or pretty much anything else, I'm super down. We can talk about that at some point. Yeah, we'll see. This is TCG now. Yeah, I want to take a quick look at, because we've already taken a look at Fire King Snake Eye. I wanted to take a look at this voice deck profile. I'm assuming it's going to be relatively straightforward, but just so I can have my food in peace. We're going to do that, and then we're just going to hop into some Master Duel. So it's a quick deck profile time, and then we play some fire stuff in Master Duel. We move over here. Turn off the music.
Hey guys, we're here with Bernardo.
And this is Omni from chat.
He got second place at the TCG Regional. What did you play, Bernardo?
I played Voiceless.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Fan of Nightmare.
Cool, and how did you do?
I ended up 6-1. My matchups were 4 Viking, Snake Eyes, 1 Kashtira, 1 Labyrinth, and 1 Pearly. My loss was to Viking Snake Eyes. It was honestly my fault, but I beat all of them, all the other ones.
What did you say? 4 Fire King matchups and 3 others.
Really
okay.
well. I didn't have as much practice with it as I could because obviously it's new, but I think it has a lot of potential in this format. And, to start with, I played obviously 3-low. Not much to explain there. I chose to play the Diviner package over the Nadir 7 package. I might still try the Nadir 7 package at some point, but I feel like Diviner is just stronger and more versatile. Tries being a body and then giving you access to stuff.
So what's the alternative? Like, if you do play, let's say, Nadir Servant instead, my problem with the Nadir Servant package is that unless I'm ignoring some obvious information, you don't get too low with the Nadir Servant, right? You can't get too low with the Nadir Servant package unless I'm missing a specific extra deck card. It does lose to Droll as well, because if you go Nadir Servant, you add with it, and then you trigger Herald Engraved, they Droll you immediately. Yeah.
Like Chaos Angel.
You can just make Skull Guardian first, then search low. I mean, yes, but Nadir Servant alone does that get you there? I guess if you resolve Maximus, it gets you there. Right? You would go... it can get you there. Okay, why not play both? I mean, technically you could. The problem is if you play, like, the thing about Voiceless Voice, I'm doing a phenomenal job at eating my food, by the way, if I'm talking all the time. The thing about Voiceless Voice is because the deck is relatively limited in terms of what it can do for its end board. If you play, this is the sort of deck, if you play too much engine, you're going to get to your end board very consistently, but you're going to be drawing too much engine and you're actually not going to get there and actually win the game because you don't pair it up with non-engine. It's the kind of deck where you do need to, when you go second, you do need to see a specific amount of non-engine to be able to stop your opponent. And if you go first, usually the end board does not win you the game. You need to like back it up with hand traps as well. Otherwise, it's not going to win. And if you play too much engine in that sort of deck, like, yeah, your deck's going to be very consistent, but you're not going to see non-engine, and then your deck doesn't do enough, right?
And the fact that you can sort of protect this as well, so he baits a lot of stuff. I don't know, it serves really well for me, being another copy of Low. Maybe I'll try the Servant, but I don't want to just lose to Droll here. So then 3 Saphira, pretty standard for that. 1 of the Old Man, and then 2 of the Skull Guardian and 2 Sorvers. I didn't choose to play the Odd Eyes.
I will say, when I was playing the deck for the first time, and keep in mind that was my first time playing the deck on Monday, I sometimes felt like I wanted a 3rd Soravis, because I felt like drawing it was okay because it gave me targeting protection, and sometimes I wanted more of him in the deck. Like, I wanted more because I ran out of a tag out target for the other Soravis or something like that. Like, I think the Ritual Soravis, it could be a 3 of, in my opinion. Especially because the Summon Negate also isn't once per turn, so if you can just put it out on turn 1 on top of whatever you're doing, like, it's a nice bonus. Is Voiceless Voice really that good? It's solid, I would say. Yeah, it's solid. Pack also said he likes 3. I can understand that. I can get behind it. Like, that was one of the things I wanted to change about the deck, is I wanted to try to fit a 3rd Soravis when I played it.
Pendulum Graph. I felt like every time you need to summon him, you have to hard summon him, so you have to go into some greedy alliance to make it. I'd rather kind of end on just a regular setup rather than go, you know, into greedy alliance and like lose to Ash or Droll or whatever just to summon Pendulum Graph, and I don't think he's strong enough either. As opposed to just ending on a Skull Garden like a Sorvis or just a Skull Garden and Warmup. For the spells, 3 barrier, it just searches. The protection effect is crazy. Then 2 the spell floating is also crazy. And then the trap was honestly one of the MVPs of the day. People kind of over-focus on like the pop effect, but the first effect is crazy to recycle a lot of stuff from your grave, especially like prayers. And
I think as a rule of thumb, you should be trying to use the first effect on this card unless you absolutely have to use the second to stop your opponent. I think the fact that this stays on the board if you use the first effect makes this card really, really good in the long run. Unless you absolutely know you can finish the game on the next turn, I think you should be trying to use the first effect. But I mean, obviously it's more nuanced than that, right? But like, I think in general, like the first effect is might even be the better one of the two.
This guy from the deck, and then this guy just becomes anything you really want. There was a game I got shifted, for example, and I just summoned low. I set up the trap. I had a ritual spell in hand. I shuffled it back. I summoned Sorvers, and then that turn I activated card. I just summoned Skull.
Is it worth spending 500 for the Voiceless Voice deck? That's a very individual question, to be honest. Like, is it even 500? To be honest, that seems kind of high. I guess if you don't have SP either. The Voiceless Voice core is how much right now? The Voiceless Voice core... The Voiceless Voice core is not 500. There's no way. Voiceless. So you need Saphira, which is $10. You need... So that's 30 for 3. You need low, which is 60. So that's 180. So we're looking at 210. We have Skull Guardian, which is 3. Or whatever, 5 for 2. Yeah, I don't think, I think the core, including diviners, you're looking at about 300, which it's not cheap, but I think it's a good deck. You're not getting the best deck in the format, but you're getting like, I think it's top 5 for sure. I think it's top 5 for sure. It might even be top 3. And in that, I'm counting fire decks as 1, right? I think top 5 is more accurate. Top 5 is more accurate. It gets more support in the upcoming set. So maybe it's also a fine, like, future investment. But I mean, if that's worth it you have to decide if that's worth it to you. Like, $500 is a lot of money. It depends on your financial situation. It depends how much you like the deck. It depends how much you enjoy playing whatever the 3rd, 4th best deck in the format. Whatever, like, you know, it's a very individual thingy. I can't just tell you that. For you have to know that.
I had Skull low and Radiance with a pop life as well through shift, which you couldn't play through. And in other matchups, it just gives you so much grind and so much stickiness that it's already hard to out this deck when you kind of set up the barrier Skull low. But if you have the trap as well, recycling all your stuff and doing it again, it's just so hard to out. And then eventually you just use the pop effect when you have to, but I usually try not to use that effect. And next set it becomes so much better when the new continuous spell can recycle this, because that's crazy. Then for the non-engine, which, you know, this format you have to play a lot of non-engine. I just play 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Nib, and 3 Impum. These 3 perform really well, especially Nib. Nib overperforms, honestly. It just, for people to break this deck sport, they just have to play into Nib every time. And Nib paired up with any hand trap, it's just really good. Droll was kind of iffy, especially when it came to like the Viking matchup, because it doesn't do enough against the Snake Eyes Ash. They can still do the full combo pretty much, but it was still okay. And it's,
I think this is solid in general. This is a good starting point for this upcoming format. I think, honestly though, when I played on Monday, I thought to myself, damn, passing to 1 or 2 hand traps while playing a hand trap deck yourself doesn't feel great, because it feels a lot of these super hand trap heavy formats. They can feel very like gambly, in the sense where trying to stop your opponent with hand traps, then they try to stop you with hand traps, and whoever runs out of hand traps first, or whoever resolves like a Snake Eye Ash first, or a low first, or whatever, right? Just wins the game, just runs away with the game. And that, I don't know if that feels that great from a competitive perspective. I feel like the solution in these sort of formats always lies in finding a way to break through that sort of situation where both people just throw hand traps at each other, right? And you need to try to escape that loop of having to throw hand traps at each other to get playing eventually. So I don't exactly know how people are gonna try to solve it yet. We just saw earlier, we watched a deck profile of the Fire King Snake Eye with board breakers instead, which was also that's one way to do it potentially. Or like not really board breakers, but it was like enemy controller, droplet, that kind of stuff, right? So that's interesting. At the same time, there's other creative ways to deal with it, right? And so like I think that's going to be key in this upcoming format, and it always is in super hand trap heavy formats, to find versions of decks that kind of escape that loop of throwing hand traps at each other.
Like decent.
That being said, I don't think Voiceless Voice is the deck that can do that, because if Voiceless Voice doesn't stop the opponent, it just doesn't play through anything. Like this deck, which is one of its biggest downsides, I feel like, is playing through stuff with Voiceless Voice is really tough. Like, you have to stop your opponent from doing things. If they don't, if they get to play, it's really hard to play through opponents' boards with Voiceless Voice, I feel like, is my first impression. Which is also why I would probably say Valor is better than Droll in this deck particularly, because Snake Eye Ash under Droll still makes the whole Amblo Whale Princess IP Masquerada board, which this deck just doesn't beat that.
And it's good against other matchups as well. Like, it was good against Purely, for example, and even against Kashtira. Maybe I would swap this for, 3 Valors, or even like Super Poly. I would give it a try. But the 12 hand traps was good. I kind of wanted to fit more hand traps, but I really didn't want to go over 40. Like, the deck is consistent, but...
On Monday, it felt like it isn't about the amount of hand traps, but the timing, especially Nibiru. I mean, that's always... it's always the case that you need to use your hand traps correctly, but still, like, I mean, if you open one Snake Eye Ash and nothing else, you pass to an Imperm, nothing to really do about it. Dude, what is this pin? In case anyone new is here, if Josh gives financial advice, it is very important to listen carefully and then do the exact opposite of what he suggested. Okay.
Some hands can be clunky, so I don't want to like mess that up. And then for other cards, like consistency cards, 3 pros, 3 pre-prep, and well, I guess another non-engine call by.
Okay, I got you. My financial advice. I have a very important piece of financial advice. Right? Listen carefully. Listen very carefully. The worst way you can invest your money right now, something that you definitely should not do at exactly this moment, is subscribe to this channel on Twitch. Don't do that.
I like the pros, which just gives you the card you need. Extra. It gives you 2 cards.
I'm just too 5-head for you guys. This is how you do it. I'm too good at my job. Booble and Curry K, thank you for the... Oh god. Yo, hey, it's enough. My point has already been proven. My point has already been proven. Booble, thank you for the 5. Curry K, thank you for the 5. Unik Funai, thank you for the 10. And Chris, thank you for the... Oh god. Dude. Oh man. You guys have been played, dude. You guys have been played. It's too easy. It's too easy being a streamer sometimes. Hey, I have mastered the dark arts.
Yeah, but you have to do it at the start of your turn.
Appreciate you guys.
I have combo. I can just combo. if they stop me, I pros for the card I need to keep going, or I just pros at the end to grab a hand trap.
Dude, Cyrus, thank you for the
Pre-frame is
5.
absolutely crazy.
Ethelion, thank you for the
If you open
7.
this card, you're just so far ahead.
Soto, Koto, thank you for the prime.
This format because it just stops so much going first against hand traps, and
You guys have been
it stops so
5-headed.
much going second as well against
So this was
fire decks.
legitimately, this was the exact same list that I played on Monday, but it had Droll over Veiler and Prosp over Extravagance, which I think is reasonable. I think Prosperity is probably better than Extravagance in the deck, just because you want to specifically find low most of the time. Like, I think it's better. The reason why I was playing Extravagance is, I'm gonna be honest, I just looked at OCG lists, and because I didn't realize, because Prosp is limited, they don't play it, they play Extravagance instead. But before the Monday stream in the morning, I sat down and I looked at OCG lists for reference. I think in the TCG, you probably play Prosperity because you want to find specific cards.
Just any deck.
Syrian Hunt, thank you for the tier 1. Lippy95, thank you for the tier 1. Nur Ice, thank you for the prime.
That sets up in grade, which is everything at this point. Then for extra deck, this deck doesn't really utilize the extra deck that much, but there's still a lot of like niche things you can do with it. So these are the Super Poly targets. I do side Super Poly. This is for like the heat.
What's the verdict on Super Poly so far, chat? My first impression of the card was that it was not very good, but what do you guys think? You are laughing now, but the 5 gifted will make me bank in 1 week. Oh yeah, the return on investment is insane. True. Mid, good, insane, bad. Okay, it seems like we're pretty split on Super Poly. I think that Super Poly can be good in certain circumstances. And we're going to talk about this a lot more tomorrow when we do some deck building for TCG for the remote duels next week. I think when you build your deck in this format, it is very important to think about what kind of non-engine you want to use and the overall goal when you're playing against the fire deck. There's, I think, 2 approaches you can go for, and there's certain hand traps or certain non-engine that works with only one of the 2 approaches, and you should never pair anti-synergistic non-engine together, which is a very general thing, but we'll talk about it in more detail tomorrow. But in the case of Super Poly, I think Super Poly just goes very badly together with certain hand traps. Like, for example, I think a card like Super Poly goes very poorly if you're going the route of Imperm Veiler Ash. Because if you're doing Imperm Veiler Ash, you're basically saying, I want to stop the Fire King deck in its tracks. I'm going to try to negate their stuff and hope that they just have to pass without doing anything, right? Which is fair. That's a solid approach that you can take. It's reasonable to do that because the fire deck can be weak to that. Like if you only have 1 or 2 starter cards and you're met with 1 or 2 hand traps, you pass turn, right? You pass turn, and that's going to be it, right? But then there's other cards that just don't go well with that, because the other approach would be, hey, I'm going to let the fire deck play at least a little bit. Maybe I'm going to stop them at some point with some hand trap, but I'm not going to stop them in their tracks. I'm not going to try to create a situation where they just have to pass the turn, right, and do nothing. And then certain cards like Soul Release or Super Poly could be okay, right? Or DD Crow or Phantasme or others, right? Like other kind of cards, right? And we noticed this immediately, or I noticed this immediately in testing, because I threw Soul Release into my side deck because I wanted to try it, and then I kept drawing Soul Release after I hand trapped my opponent to death. And they just didn't do anything. They didn't have a graveyard setup that I could Soul Release. They didn't have a graveyard setup that I could even DD Crow in theory. Or they didn't even have a board that would play into Talents because I hand trapped them to death. So what am I going to Talents, right? And so I think it's important to understand these sort of interactions, because yeah, in theory, Soul Release is a good card against the board that Fire King makes. But if your entire goal of the deck is to not let them make that board, then Soul Release is not a good card for you, right? And And I think Super Poly is relatively niche in that case, because Super Poly, if you're playing Super Poly, you want your opponent to make a board, because if they don't, that card is not doing anything. However, Super Poly alone does not really deal with that many things off of their board, because they still have so much like follow-up and stuff that hops out of the spell and trap zone, and maybe Kirin in hand and all that, right? So your game plan, if you involve Super Poly, needs to be pretty damn like good, right? But you can set it. Okay, so at that point, what you're saying is your game plan is, I want to hand trap my opponent to stop them from playing. They pass, then I play into their board, and if it doesn't work, I can set Super Poly as quote-unquote interaction on their third turn. So you're playing Super Poly for turn 3 in that case, which I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I don't think that's a good argument. Like, yeah, you can theoretically set Super Poly and interrupt them on their turn 3, but you're not going to play a card for that. Especially because you also have to keep another card in your hand. Like, you have to hand trap them. Let's say you throw 1 or 2 hand traps, so you're sitting at 4 or 5 cards in hand. Then, because you have to keep 1 card in hand for Super Poly, you can only play into their board with 2 or 3 cards. So you're not gonna succeed with that game plan, because then you're just gonna sit there without any follow-up. Yeah, you've Super Polyed into a Mud Dragon, but you're completely out of cards because your game plan, your strategy wasn't cohesive from the get-go, right?
So / Humble plus IP boards. It didn't come up, but you know.
And so I don't know how much I like Super Poly even in this deck, which technically even has the extra deck space, because your main deck plan is just to stop them with hand traps. So like, what's the point? Like, when is the Super Poly gonna really come in?
I didn't play the other targets like the Dragon Knight and stuff because I didn't have them, and honestly, I'm not really respecting Vanadium. I've already made draw, so I was kind of okay with it. Then enters Herald. Is it for diviner targets? That didn't really come up. I usually just send tries. It's always better, but it's in case you draw tries.
Mud Dragon, then normal summon low is insane. Okay, fair enough. You're saying like, all right, if I Super Poly into a Mud Dragon, I mean, the problem is, depending on what exactly you Super Poly, that still isn't enough though. Like, you summon that Mud Dragon, what stops your opponent to just go, like, after you Super Poly, right? If your opponent is smart, it's after siding, so they know you're playing Voiceless Voice. If they have targeting interaction, like Valor or Imperm, what's stopping them from just using Kirin in hand, bring back Garunix, and pop your Mud Dragon with another Kirin? What's stopping them from doing that if they have Imperm or Valor? Nothing. They can just do that. You're not getting rid of all of their interaction with Super Poly. They have enough ways to deal with Mud Dragon. Like, at that point, you're just hoping that your opponent is misplaying, right? You're just like, please don't do the right play. Please don't do what beats me. Please don't beat me up. You can't Imperm Mud Dragon? No, but you can Kirin it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they have an Imperm or a Valor that you would normally invalidate with your Mud Dragon, they have ways to non-targeting remove your Mud Dragon before they use the Imperm, right? But it's a resource that they used. I mean, yeah, but like, they have a lot of resources, and you've just gone Super Poly discard 1, and you've probably hand trapped them before because you're playing Voiceless Voice, so you're sitting at like 3 cards in hand. And you still need to play through like all of that and their follow-up. Like, I just don't see I don't see you winning from that position is my argument. Because there's still Promethean Princess in the graveyard, Garunix and Kirin on the board, infinite follow-up in hand, because you've probably like Super Polyed Super Poly like Flamberge and Amblo Whale, right? And so like 2 level 1s jump back out of the graveyard, give them follow-up. Kirin and Garunix come out of their hand, they pop the Mud Dragon. There still is Promethean Princess and Amblo Whale in the graveyard. Both of the level 1s that they bring back from Flamberge give them infinite follow-up. You're just not winning from that position. I don't see it. Specifically with Voiceless Voice. Like, that deck just doesn't win through that sort of situation. I genuinely don't think it does consistently enough. Unless you draw like 2 or 3 more good non-engine cards. Like, yeah, sure. If you have like Super Poly with maybe a good discard like Trias Hierarchia to like even dodge on something on your low or your Diviner, and then you also have talents, and yeah, okay. But at that point, we're like listing a bunch of cards just to make Super Poly viable. When in theory, when you're already main decking 12 hand traps, you can just side like three hand traps more or something like that, like side Veiler on top, and have a good chance of just stopping everything, like stopping all that from coming out.
And the Diviner, then this come up. Chaos Angel, this is also for the Trias setup, so you summon Trias, and then Diviner summons the low, and then you can make Chaos Angel with the Trias and the low. It actually came up like 3 times. It's just really strong. Like, it basically, if you have another low access, you just do this and it just banishes something, and then you trades with something as well in the battle, and it has a level, and like you know, if you link it off, so you can even use Saphira as a tribute if you need to for the ritual summon. Yeah, Chaos Angel was actually surprisingly good. It came up a lot.
Yeah, Chaos Angel was nice.
Typhoon's alright, but you usually don't really do it because the highest attack.
Mod check any reprints. I mean, it's getting a reprint in the OTS pack, so maybe you want to look at like what I think is probably going to be like an 80 to $100 ultimate rare. Then I got some good news for you.
Clones will always be Skull Guardian. You'd rather have that than this. It only comes up in situations where like your low gets stopped and then you make it on top of low, but it's usually not enough in this format. But you still kind of have to play it. You know, it's good against like Brandon Minion, whatever. For links, I played Anima and Link Karibo for link ones. Anima comes up a lot, especially with like nib tokens and stuff. Link Karibo is okay. It's just there to kind of climb into.
What I do like already, because this list is playing Prosperity, like, of course, this deck technically has the extra deck space for playing Extravagance, but at the same time, because the deck doesn't really lock itself out of the extra deck, it feels good to have all the options available when you play Prosp over Extravagance. Like, the fact that you can just play one of all these cards and have them at all times feels good. Like, there were games on Monday where I banished my only Chaos Angel from the extra deck, or my only SP, and it just wasn't available to me after, which is like, it can be annoying.
The Chalmers, they actually only Dark came up. Liner was more for like the mirror.
Biggest problem for hand traps, in my opinion, is that Talents is everywhere. So first you have to have 2 hand traps. Second, if your opponent does have Talents, your first hand trap needs to be imperm. Talents definitely creates very let's say some dumb interactions in hand traps format specifically. Yeah. One of the biggest upsides, I would say, for playing a deck with very little hand traps would be that you would be immune to Talents when you go second. That is true. Like, that's usually been one of the bigger benefits when you're playing board breaker approaches. You know, you don't care about Talents, you don't care as much about called by. Those sort of things are pretty good, yeah.
I don't know if I'll play going forward. I was playing Celine before and I took it out because it never really came up, but they're alright. Like, Dark comes up a lot because you can just make it with a low, just becomes Animal Link Karibo. I've even normal summon Drone to make a Link Karibo, so it comes up. And then SP, you also can steal other people's SP with this. SP obviously comes up because you can just make it with the banish effect so often. 2 Dynamondos, this card is actually crazy.
I can't help but always respect when someone has a quarter century SP and be like, God damn, that thing is already expensive in Secret Rare. Why did you have to go all the way? But at the same time, it always reinsures me in my own decision to just get Secret Rares, because they do look better, man. They do look better. I respect that card's $500 or whatever. I respect the hustle, but the secret, it do look better. Hey, I'm sorry.
I think I usually try not to go for this unless I...
That will always hold value. I mean, to be fair, probably, if SP ever gets a reprint, the secret rare that I have is probably going to drop a lot more than the quarter century would ever drop. That is probably true. At the same time, this is like one of the prime cards to get like an OTS ultimate rare, and at that point, you're just gonna feel stupid owning the quarter century because the ulti is gonna look insane, man. Like, nah, I'm not into that quarter century kind of thing. I like Starlights, but for some reason I don't like quarters. I like Starlights, but quarters are not that great.
Trap setup,
in my opinion. I don't know, but it's fine. If people like it, then I get it.
At the event, but Dynamondo,
it's the stamp.
Really
I don't think it's the stamp. I'll tell you what it is. It's the letters. golden letters, you can barely see the text on it. Like the silver effects and the silver lettering on Starlights is just, it's just sick. And the gold on this one just doesn't quite pop as much.
Especially
anyways, not relevant to this at all.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Like going second, you make it.
Maybe it's just my copium. Every time a quarter century SP appears on screen, I have to tell myself it's okay to not have that.
Your body comes back just on the opponent's turn. Just some of the Skull Guardian low comes back, sets another one. So I think it's really, really strong. And I think you kind of need to, because if you use 1 turn 1, you still want the second one for turn 3. And then I chose play Access. This was for like help kill, but I've realized the deck can kill quite easily without it. And it was also to like board clear.
Yeah, I think I find it's funny because this deck I think got pretty good ways to actually go for game, because the freaking Skull Guardian is huge, man. Skull Guardian 4100 is insane. Like that deck can put up a lot of damage, especially with how good Dynamondo is for like pushing damage, because it's like a Link 2 that has a decent amount of attack points for a Link 2, and it gets rid of one of their cards. Like it's relatively easy to just clear the board, attack with Skull Guardian for insane damage. It has nothing to clear board. I mean, freaking Dynamondo and SP are pretty good. I mean, SP you can't go for game, but like Dynamondo is pretty good at clearing boards.
Which the decks sometimes struggle if there's like too many things on the board, but I found Access to be quite hard to access. Mainly because there was just a lot of games that Dark and Liner didn't really do anything, so like climbing into a Link 4 was kind of hard, but you don't really need it. Like you have a 41 attack beater. And for side deck, I think side deck is one of the things I would definitely change and improve for like as the format goes forward, but I'll still explain the choices. Played 3 Bell, this is mainly for lab matchup. Lab matchup can be really hard, because if they set up before you set up, it's just really hard to get through it, because you're not protected by the targeting until you've set up, so they can abuse it.
Bell is in a very interesting position for this upcoming format. We should probably do a non-engine tier list at some point, is what I'm now realizing. But I just wanted more time to think about these individual cards. But I guess we had a discussion on non-engine as well. The problem about Bell, I feel like, is that it's good against Lab, obviously. But as we saw earlier, like we've seen earlier that like Labyrinth currently doesn't even exist in the freaking pie chart. So Bell, the one thing I don't know, because I had Bell when we played on Monday, I had Bell in both of my decks, in the Snake Eye decks, in the Snake Eye deck that I played, and in the Voiceless Voice deck that I played. I sided Bell in both, but I was never sure if it was actually good enough to side it into, for example, a Snake Eye matchup. Like, is Bell... I know there are Bell targets, in theory. You know, you can Bell Oak, you can Bell Flamberge in the graveyard, you can Bell Promethean, you can Bell Garunix in the graveyard. Like, there are targets for it, but am I really gonna find cards that I can side out for Bell? You can Bell Wanted, right? But all of those things are either just one-to-one interactions where you're just trading Bell, one card in your hand for one card of theirs, and if they have an extender, it basically does nothing. Or at the point where you can Bell a Flamberge in the graveyard, at the point where you can Bell a Promethean Princess, is it maybe too late already? Right? And that's my problem with Bell. And so if it's a situation where in theory it's good in a couple different spots, but it's just not quite good enough to actually take out other cards from your main deck for it, then maybe it's not good enough overall. Because if it's just for Labyrinth, Labyrinth might not be popular enough to justify playing it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much I like Bell. I need to think about it more. I need to test it more. I do think it's good against Voiceless Voice. I do think if I'm playing against Voiceless Voice, I'm siding in Bell, because you can Bell Saphira, because that thing can add from the graveyard. You can Bell Pre-Prep, because that can theoretically also add from the graveyard. You can sometimes, if they mess up their chain links, you can Bell Low in the graveyard. You can Bell Dynamondo, which is pretty big if they end on that. If they just have the one card combo, they will, like if you Bell the Dynamondo, they pretty much have nothing, right? So I'm pretty sure Bell is good enough against Voiceless Voice. So I mean, maybe if it covers Voiceless Voice and Labyrinth, that makes it good enough to side deck it.
Very hard. It's also good in the mirror. Like you can bell pre-prep, you can bell Saphira.
Crow against Voiceless Voice is better. I mean, I was siding Crow as well in my Voiceless Voice, so I was playing both. There was not there. There's no. I mean, you can still play both theoretically, but Crow is also very good.
And it's just good against random stuff like Brandon or whatever. So I think I'll always play Bell just as a safety. Then I chose play 3 Super Volley and 3 Soul Release. These were for the Super Volley kind of covers a lot of matches, but this is mainly for Viking deck. I think they pair really well with another hand trap, and Super Volley especially is really good in like simplified game states where like they end on like a really half board and you kind of have a board as well, and then you like Super Volley and then you like start link climbing and stuff. The Super Volley was really strong.
So
Release, it just helps get rid of the Viking package. You can outgrind the Snake Eyes deck, but you cannot outgrind the Viking deck. So
I like Soul Release. The card to me looks really powerful. However, I don't like it. I mean, we've talked about this for like 5 minutes earlier. I don't like it here because I don't think the ideal thing to do with Soul Release is to pair it with a bunch of hand traps. Because if I'm playing hand traps, I'm trying to make my opponent pass the turn. Without anything, right? I think the philosophy, if you're playing a lot of hand traps in your deck, is if your opponent gets to play through it, then you probably are cooked. Which is just the unfortunate reality of playing a hand trap heavy deck. Like if you're playing 12 hand traps and your opponent manages to play through it, then you know you're sitting there with like 4 cards in hand, and you're probably gonna lose. And so I don't like committing to a half and half, like half hand traps, half power spells kind of thing at the moment. I think it'd be better to focus on one or the two. Like I would have preferred to see, if I'm already maining hand traps, I would like to side deck more hand traps to make sure my hand traps put in work. And if I'm not maining a lot of hand traps, I like siding more power spells and board breakers to go with that approach. Is kind of the way I'm looking at it at the moment. But it obviously is my first impression.
If you get rid of the Viking stuff in a grave and the princess, you'll manage to outgrind the Snake Eyes portion of the deck. I only saw it twice during the day, and both times my opponent didn't really. The first time they didn't do anything because I hand trapped them, and then the second time they had all the Viking stuff on the board, not on the grave. So I don't know if I'll still keep playing it going forward. I think it'll depend how the fight deck.
That's the exact experience that you're asking for, though, right? Like you just said. The time I drew it, I stopped my opponent with hand traps so they didn't have stuff in the graveyard. But that's what you're asking for. That's what you're doing when you're building your deck like that. You're getting exactly the result that you're expecting to get.
Develops, and what kind of end boards people end on. Super Volley was quite strong. If anything, I think I'll play more targets for this, so it's a bit more versatile in other matchups. But it's just good because the deck does struggle a little bit with board clearing, so... Then for back row matchups, just Harpies and Cyclone. I thought about playing Storm.
Which is, it's important to understand that sort of stuff, like, because I one thing that I always tell you guys, or not always, but I've said it before, is to not be too results oriented, right? Only because you've, I don't know, bricked on a certain card one time, it doesn't mean it needs to go out of your deck, or only because a card was good one time you played it, that means it was the right decision to play the card. That's not necessarily true. And so only because, you know, that you might say like, oh, it's a relatively small sample size. You just played it for one day and you're already saying like, oh, you know, for example, on Monday, I said like after one game, I said like, yeah, my side deck doesn't make sense. I'm siding like Phantasme and Soul Release when my main deck has 15 hand traps. Like these cards don't really do anything together. It's different when you can pair that up with solid theory. That's where theory can save you a lot of time in deck building and testing, because that was not me looking at one game and being like, yeah, the Phantasme and the Soul Release wasn't good here because I hand trapped my opponent 2 times. You know, I guess it's just one game, let me try again. no, like if you think about that, like if you apply solid logic to that situation, you're like, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen most of the time if you play a card like Soul Release. Like Soul Release is only good if you let your opponent combo, right? Other than that, it's not going to do anything. So in those cases, it's not a matter of, you know, small sample size or whatever. It's just a matter of solid logic in deck building.
But Cyclone is good going first as well. Yeah, I don't know how much to explain this. Just macro.
Are we still playing Master Duel today? Yeah, this is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, but we are hopping into Master Duel in just a second. I just love talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I'm sorry.
For going first, 7 limits.
Is Phantasme plus DD Crow good against Fire deck? For example, you Phantasme on Princess and then that would be that would make more sense. Phantasme, I think, is a good card against the Fire decks, but not in a deck with 15 hand traps, because then you might just stop them before they can play into your Phantasme. I think Phantasme would be good in an approach with like Talents, Soul Release, Cosmic Cyclone, right? If you can just let them play, DD Crow as well, right? You just let them play, use Phantasme to get board presence and card advantage, use cards like Soul Release, Cosmic, and DD Crow to deal with the stuff that they actually do make, and then like go ahead. Because like another good pairing is like if you pair like Soul Release with Cosmic Cyclone, that can also be pretty insane. Because if you first take away Princess, Garunix, and the level 1s out of the graveyard, then Cosmic on Island fucks them up. It fucks them up because they got no recovery from the graveyard.
I only saw it once, obviously just instant won me the game because I had the setup and summon limit. I also got summon limited. Someone sided summon limit against me, and then yeah, I've just played better under summon limit than Purely does, surprisingly.
Dude, I hate Floodgates, man.
Yeah, just this is a deck that sets up to Omni, so you have to play Floodgate, I think, for going first, because you have an Omni and you have a Floodgate that's so hard to out. And I think especially
I do understand why people are using them. Unironically, I do understand why people are using them in the upcoming format. From both perspectives. From the Rogue deck perspective, I can see it. Because if you're playing a deck that is less powerful than the Fire deck, you might think that's your only option to play cards like Summon Limit, Anti-Spell, DDG, whatever, what have you, right? I get it. And then when you're playing a deck like this one, which doesn't put up any Omni Negates, you might be too scared of like a heavy board breaker approach, and so you play Floodgates. Only because I understand it doesn't mean I like it though.
against like the Fire decks, you have to play something that's unfair to keep the deck.
To me, Voiceless Voice going first is already really strong, so do you really need to Floodgate? Arguably, if I don't know if I necessarily agree. Like, Voiceless Voice is consistent, but it's not that strong. Like, it's an Omni Negate and a trap card. It's not impossible to break that. Like, it's not that strong. It's efficient. You get it with few cards. It's good, and most of the time it's paired with other non-engine, but it's very breakable in and itself. It's very, very breakable in and itself. It's not that crazy. So I do understand the fact that like people like get these kind of cards involved.
The matchup fair, because you know they side stuff against you, so you probably won't end on the best board. But if you end on like even just the Skull Guardian, and
non-ironically, just play a deck with a lot more extenders. Shit like Branded or even Raid Raptor are so much better than relying on one summon limit. You've just mentioned Branded and Raid Raptor. Nah, man, I'm playing Voiceless Voice. I'm sorry.
it's so.
If those are my options, or ritual summoning.
I'll change some stuff in the side deck as it goes forward. I wasn't really happy with my siding patterns. I didn't really know what to side out.
Okay, I mean, it was a solid list nonetheless, but Voiceless Voice feels like, once again, relatively solved already. When it comes to, I mean, those are the approaches that everyone's been taking. It's the first week though. Let's see if there's room for, there might be room to improve or iterate over the concept, I think, but we'll see what the upcoming weeks bring. If you're here for mainly TCG, we're gonna do a whole lot of format discussions tomorrow as well, because tomorrow I want to update some of the decks that we've been building. I want to apply some of the theory that we've just talked about for a while. I want to apply some of that theory to some decks that I already have, maybe even build some new decks for the upcoming format. And then next week, we are going to have a couple of remote duels, maybe even do it on 2 separate days to get some more testing in. And I've also talked to the people over at Card Market have messaged me, and they said, hey, we can throw in some incentive for your opponents in the mix, like you can win some Card Market vouchers or some stuff like that. So I'm getting that set up as well, so that there's something in it for you guys if you win in the remote duels. I just hope that doesn't make people, you know, open the stream and look at my hand, but I guess I have to accept that risk. That's the risk you take as a streamer. But I do think it's a really cool idea, so I'm just hoping people are honest enough to just not look at my hand to win like a 10 euro Card Market thingy or something like that, to have a good game instead. But we'll see. It's gonna be fine, I think. I don't want to throw on a delay. Honestly, if I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh with chat, if I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh against my chat, my Twitch chat live, like if I have to throw on a delay, I think something's wrong. I think something's wrong if that's the case. I think we should be able to do that without using a delay on stream. That's not great. We don't want that. All right. In order to have some gameplay on today's stream, though, I want to hop into a Master Duel real quick and continue the grind to Master 1. The question is, do we change anything about the deck? Oh, right. I haven't opened this one yet. I haven't been logging in every day. Give me a good one. The first 2 I've gotten were both unplayable, so... And I'm pretty sure that's not great either, but okay. Oh. Yeah, I got this dude. I got this dude. And I got this dude. I got Hyper Librarian. That's at least one cool. That's at least a cool one. How many freaking... hold up. That was the last pack anyways, right? Let me get these legacy packs out of the way real quick. I mean, Duster is probably the best one you can get. Oh, look, we got Friendship. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Wait, you could have gotten the Chaos Angel? Oh my god. Why did I get a Chaos Angel, man? This is my current list. I think there's very little we can do. I'm pretty happy with it in terms of like pure Snake Eye for Master Duel. I think it's pretty good. Let's play a game or 2 with this. And then I was thinking about trying Runic Snake Eyes. Sprite Elf, I don't. I've looked at some of the Sprite Elf lines. I don't know if I like them. No Hita? Wait, do I not play Hita? Dams 4K, thank you for the 2 months. I thought I had Hita in this. It'd be a pretty big oversight. No, I have Hita. It's here. Okay. I guess we take a look at their hand and we don't play. Okay, that is like the worst possible thing that we could look at right now. That is insane. So they have an out to Max C and 2 starters. That's crazy. They opened Max C, Ash, Imperm, Unicorn, Wanted. Are you serious? I think I'm taking Ash and just dropping Max C, hoping I live. What the hell? Probably place an Ash. I mean, I play enough hand traps to live the turn, usually. I don't play Silvera now. You get to look at my extra deck, but I can't really prevent that. I guess they're probably gonna take my princess away. But I think we have ways to win without princess. Oh, to take access code. Okay. Interesting. Okay, they drew Theosis and they're going in. We play 3 nibs. We should be okay. Okay, Ash. Do I Ash Fenrir? No. No, let him have it. Let him have it. Oh wait, they special summon it now. They could have just normaled it, no? Locked into Xyz now. Banish Scareclaw Cash. Banish 3 irrelevant cards. Three material Arise Heart? I mean, yeah. One more. One more. One more. The question, do they play into it or not? Oh, they banished the field spell, so we can technically also draw into Imperm. That also outs it. They haven't used Birth to revive yet, no. The thing is, they don't even have a banish now anymore. Right now. I don't play Zeus. Are they playing around Nibiru? It looks like it. Oh, this is the third. I see. This is the third attached. Hmm. The last card in their hand was Imperm. I mean, I might as well ash that. Like, what else am I gonna ash? No, they're not gonna. They're gonna play around Nibiru. They're definitely playing around Nibiru right now. Yep. Oh, never mind. Well, dude, I set you up. I look. I freaking. I was talking in the highest tones of you, and all right. Goodbye. Dude. Oh man, all you had to do was pass, man. All you had to do was pass. The only thing that you needed to do was hit the pass button instead of the birth button. Oh man. Rate 97, thank you for the 18 months. Yeah. What was the plan against the Rysard? No, we needed to draw impermanence. That was the plan. And we haven't done that, so we would not have beaten this Rysard, I don't think. Which, to be fair, it was still risky of them to just lose to a single imperm, essentially. They should not have banished my field spell, I don't think, is what it comes down to. I think they should have left the field spell there, just banish my entire board. That way, I can't imperm them. But yeah, I guess Talons would have also been able to out it if we had a spell to trigger it. Uh-oh. What does that mean? What does that mean? Only one? Your hand is that good? What is happening? Yeah, no, it's a certified mom pick me up, I'm scared situation. It is a certified mom pick me up, I'm scared angle. Is Miscat 3 in Master Duel? It's at 3. This is an FTK bot. You Veiler now or never? No, the idea is that if you don't risk playing into Misk, you can Veiler something that's not a dinosaur later. You can Veiler like, yeah, see, they had it. We're the best. What the hell did they send, by the way? Just okay. This doesn't even have a graveyard effect. Why did they send that? Oh, never mind. Maxi resolve. We're chill. Surely. Surely. Not even a problem. Drew Ash for that right in the moment. Do I Ash that or do I Ash the pill? I feel like ashing the pill almost. Even though, I mean, they could make Lagia or Dolka. I mean, to be fair though, I get kind of cooked by Tyranno right now. So I want to Ash the pill. Can Veiler, Dolka, nice dragon. Oh yeah, they're dragon, but Dolka can negate twice. So, dude, they are not stopping. Well, I'm not ashing that if I didn't ash the previous one. There are the scraps. See, and that's what we can Veiler. Well, not this one, but we can. The scrap Wyvern is not a dino, right? I would be very happy if I could pick up a Nibiru or an Imperm. Like, more stuff that makes me feel comfortable, because I'm still a little scared. Nope, that's not it. That's not the one. That's Imperm. I just Veilered this individual. Beep. Can dinos deck out? I would be very surprised if they could. Yep. What are your thoughts on PAX deck building idea of using 70% engine and 30% non-engine? I know which video you're talking about. I saw it. I think it's solid theory, but it doesn't apply to every deck. And it also, there are cards that are neither engine or non-engine. There's a lot of cards that are just engine requirements, which is different. But in general, it's not a bad. It was a good video. Okay, Poplar plus Diabellstar is an interesting. You could just start by Diabellstar, pitch Poplar, or pitch a different. I'm just gonna start normal summon Poplar. I think normal summon Poplar. Check for a hand trap. I want to get Temple. Oh, we get ashed on that anyways. Okay, well, never mind. We just pop off Show me that hand. That is disgusting. What the hell is that even? What the hell is even that? Yo! Yo! Ash Gamma Circular Exceed called by. You disgust me. Holy. My God. Good Lord. And go Ash. This hand is just as custom. I mean, yeah, it's a good hand. Just get pop. I want to get Oak into rotation, I think. It's not that broken even because the called by is also really good for them here. Like, unironically, that I'm not even sure if I'm winning. I'm gonna get Oak into rotation, I think. Because I can't get to a tuner anymore. They've got Ash. Does Ash help me here? If I go Hida first, bring back 2 level 1s. Bring back their Ash. It technically is a tuner. Can I do something with that? I don't think I can get Baron. Celine? Hita? Ooh, wait. Celine? 1, 2. There's not enough spells for Celine. Not enough spells for Celine, sadly. Because then I could have gone... I could have gone Hita. Yeah. So if I make Hita, I get back 2 bodies. I make Ash. Flamberge to scale something makes 3 for Celine. Continuous spell. So Celine brings back Diabell Star. Hita. I put 1 into the spell and trap. Hita, bring back 2 level 1s. I have Hita plus 2 bodies. Hita brings out Ash. I make Celine. I bring back this. I have Baron Apple. If I do that. That's Baron Apple. I don't think that's better though. Not reviving Poplar was a mistake? How? How does it matter? want to put Linkuriboh into the grave. We didn't need to go through Hida there. We wasted the Hidar. It doesn't matter that much. At least the Hida is a target for Flamberge. For Amlo Whale, I mean. Their hand is like as scary as it can be. It's freaking insane. Circular Parallel Exceed called by +1. Okay, open game state called by on Princess, I assume. Yeah. Do I go Apo? Or do I go Unicorn? Spin the circular. I think it's Unicorn. It's just annoying. It's just annoying that I have to pitch one of my hand traps here. I'm gonna pitch the... I think I'm gonna pitch the Ash Blossom. I'm hiding behind as many monsters as possible. The timer is low. Does Splash Mage revive any Cybers or level 4 or lower? Quick. I need to know now. I can explain later. Any? Link Karibo doesn't matter because this shit negates everything in the battle phase. Yeah, of course. Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely reasonable. Why now? Why now? Appreciate you though. Thank you for the 5, King Boohoo. Goddess is nice there if you play it. I do not play it. Oh, okay. Do I Valor this or do I Valor Kid Kalos? Valor and Kid Kalos is very dangerous if they have Saliek. I guess I have Called By on my turn. I'll Valor Kid Kalos. For the love of God, just pass. Okay, thank you. Dude, I feel like a Mathmic player right now. That's disgusting. Why not Crossout? Because Crossout can't hit Nibiru. I don't have to worry about Nibiru now. I felt like that was good enough reasoning in my head. Do Zelantis line for the funny? It would be very funny, especially because it would require like a hacked version of Master Duel because that card's not in the game yet. Other than that, it'd be very funny. Wait, if I summon Oak now? Yeah, it's Oak. I know Zelantis is in the game, but the freaking Phoenix isn't. Calm down. The line is not in the game. They said go for the Zelantis line, and the line is not in the game. Y'all are not the biggest comedian in the world. Only because you figured out that Zelantis, the card, is actually in the game. That being said, I don't know how easy it is to even like game from this position. What did I screw this up? I was distracted. How do I make formula now? I mean, I guess I just use original send Snake Eye now. If I want to go formula. That's fine. This still works out, I'm pretty sure. I think when you don't have to worry about hand traps anymore, a lot of the lines end up, the sequencing doesn't matter as long as you use all your resources in the same way. I think it's kind of whatever. Watch me get nibbed now. So I was thinking, what is this? I was thinking I could take the Diabell Star to make Savage, but then I don't get, I can't get my Promethean off the board. Yeah, whatever. I think I'll just do this. Savage, Promethean, and Flamberge is OTK. Take. Oh yeah, because I can push back the Kiklos. Yeah. Yeah, it was make Savage, equip Linkuriboh, make Promethean, bring back Flamberge, Flamberge push the kit to the back row, and then that's enough damage, yeah. I mean, we not drew this game, to be fair. We had everything. That was disgusting. Has no one read Diabell Star's self-revive effect? No, you haven't read it. You can only revive it if if it's sent from your own field. If you take it with talents and then link it off or synchro it off, you can't revive it because it has to go from your own field. So you're the one who didn't read it. You thought about that? Ooh, Royal Diabell Star. Okay. It's very annoying that the unicorn looks at Mac. What? Why is there so many cash tiras, by the way? Can we talk about that? Why is your first instinct to play cash tira after this stuff comes out? You're like, ah, yes, Diabell Star. I can throw this into my cash tira deck. Don't do that. Goodbye, Promethean Princess. I love opening Fenrir Unicorn. It's my favorite thing to do. Oh. Okay. I guess I could have Veilered that. Not that I'm gonna need that Veiler at some point anyways. Yeah. Could have stopped that. Fine. They need like Nib. It's not Nib. It's curtains. Yeah, that. Keep. Oop. We go through oak. I never know in these situations whether I want to go through oak or not, because it's technically not necessary. But let's go through oak. I don't think it makes a difference though. It just loads up the grave with more targets. They have nib. Fuck off. And we did play into that really hard right now. Oh, this should have been Flamberge. Oh. Yeah, I didn't count. That was a good reason to not go through oak, yeah. That was a very good reason to not go through oak, especially because they have birth as well. He has everything? Yeah, but it's not my time to complain if I could have played around it, you know? Like, that was not, this is not my game to complain about. If there was literally a line to avoid this, I should have just summoned Flamberge immediately and made a Appaloosa after. Like, it was a guaranteed win. Yeah, we deserve to lose that. Is Nib meta? I would play it right now. I am playing it. I think it's good. Just not imperm. Why can't I ever shut up, man? Why can't I just shut up? Prosperity. Interesting. Not that many decks that use that right now in Master Duel, is there? What is that? Another Kashtira, dude. Holy. People are down bad right now. That's like the worst possible scenario when you open 2 Cult by the Grave, is play against Kashtira and they open Imperm. Couldn't go much worse than that. It's actually cursed, man. What the hell? What do you think of the field spell in Fire King Snake Eye? I think it's solid. Okay. This hand is good. This has to play through hand traps easily, right? Okay. Veiler. Theoretically, I can set up Savage now and then 1-for-1. How far does that get me? Summon Jet, Savage, get the negate, 1-for-1 for Ash. That should be full combo, right? Because I can send the Link Karibo from the spell and trap zone. I do play 3 Poplars, yeah. Ash. Oh, I forgot to summon. I wanted to summon Jet. I blanked. I guess we can still 1-for-1 for the Jet, but now we completely played into, yeah, I blanked for a second there. My brain farted. Okay. They're just not gonna have Nib. If I get punished here, I deserve it. Technically it's the same. I think. It was gonna be, yeah, I was gonna have, well, Flamber first, no, because I want to send the Link Karibo from the spell and trap zone for the Ash. Otherwise, I don't have enough bodies. Never punished. Sunlight Wolf. 2 level 1s. This was good. This was Formula. This was Amblo Whale, Savage, Flamberge, Formula, Ash in hand, Princess Engrave against 2 hand traps. I mean, yeah, against Veiler Maxi, but we had Ash for the Maxi, so. This hand is awkward, but they're playing 60 cards, so surely we're fine. I haven't seen Super Heavy in 3 days, mod check. That's because no one likes it. Right. Good morning, Sparky Summons. I assume that means you're from the US. I considered discarding Ash for the Diabell Star because you can add it back with Sunlight Wolf later, but I think it was too risky because it's a 60 card deck. It's probably branded, which means that if they do have a hand trap to stop the Diabell Star, we discarded our Ash, which is a disaster. Where's Josh from? I'm from Germany. Do want Linkaribo in the graveyard. Promethean. Flamberge. Perfect. Make this. Do you think in German or English if the cards are in English? I think in English very often because my job, like I probably speak more English throughout the day than German, unironically. Did you know that if you click twice on a card, it confirms the action? I know. The problem is, I think when Master Duel started, when it launched, it didn't have that, so I got used to it in another way. And so sometimes I do it, but most of the time I just forget, and my habit is I click the other button. I don't think it had that in the beginning. But technically, it's also faster, technically, which sometimes matters for the timer. Sure, I should get used to it that way, but I'm just not used to it. Okay, I'm not gonna Ash Lubellion against Branded. For card names, I often don't even know the German names for cards, unironically, because I just, yeah, I don't know. We talk about the cards in English all the time. Most of the cards that I own are English, so yeah, most of the time I don't even know what the German name is. I don't play Elf, no. The main reason why I play Elf, honestly, is the fact that I don't really know... I don't really know all the Elf lines by heart yet, and I'm probably not going to use it for that reason, but I have to look at it at some point. I don't think it's necessary, though, but maybe it's good. Wait, isn't Albaz in hand kind of good against this board? Why didn't they just start with Albaz normal? I feel like that would have been pretty good. I'm gonna make... Am I gonna make? Yeah, I'm gonna make an Appaloosa. Because I'm scared of your Albaz. And I have Linkaribo in the graveyard to prevent the attack over. Deadeye Bullseye, thank you for the 12 months and happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. This is where Talents is cracked, by the way. Thank you, Flow Freeze. Appreciate that. Glad you like it. We just recorded another episode for you earlier today. It's going to be up on the weekend. This is not main phase only, right? No, we just do it in the battle phase. You've been juked. They should have bestialed the Linkaribo. Deadeye Bullseye, thank you for 2 more. Appreciate that. You should have, the gambit was gonna be, you should have not subscribed. You just told me it was your birthday and someone was gonna give you a sub anyways. That's the play if it's your birthday, I feel like. Capablanca, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate that. You're not getting rid of my Appaloosa. It's always my birthday. Okay, now, okay, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, chat. That's not how, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. You can't, okay, now everyone is saying it. Okay, well, yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't care about Serenir Send. I want to pop this Lubellion, though. Sephiroth, thank you for the kind words and the 3 months. Appreciate you. So, you're in main phase 2. You're under max C. Your opponent has a 3-mat Appo, 5 cards in hand. There's an Ash as well that they don't know about. Infinite follow-up. And you're playing Branded. What do you do? A, do you surrender? Or B, do you cope as hard as possible that the game is still winnable because you're playing Branded and Branded players never scoop? See, go and complain on Reddit. I see. Okay. We're just not going to talk about the fact that they actually had a way through this by just using the Bestial on the Link Karibo, and then they could have attacked over Appaloosa. We're not going to talk about that, though. We're rather going to come... Oh, yeah, connection failed. Oh, they would have won. Brandies, don't worry. They just disconnected. They just disconnected. Don't worry. The branded deck was going to win it. Trust. It was just a disconnect angle. It happens. It happens. Yeah, we got lucky they DC'd. Oh, yeah. We do not know what was about to happen to us. That was our only win condition, actually. Are you still making Snake Eye Runic? I wanted to build it for the TCG tomorrow. I feel like it's more interesting for the TCG, but it's definitely gonna happen. The only thing that I've already kind of figured out is I don't think it can play... I don't think it can be a Jet Synchron version. So, with no... I'm kind of in a... I'm in a little bit of a dire situation here. What the hell do you Ash against Rescue Ace when they don't have Emergency? Like, do I care about this freaking Rescue Ace spell that they're adding? I feel like I don't. Is Airlifter even one card combo? Surely I just wait for the Sinful thingy. Oh. Yep. I mean, I already have it. I don't need to call it by that. The only annoying thing is, like, I want to call it by Ash Blossom, but obviously I have 2 of my own Ash Blossoms, which would be somewhat annoying. The worst case scenario is they have Ash and Maxi. Because, actually, no, it's not. I can still, that's the best case scenario. I changed my mind. Please have Maxi. Now. God damn it. Okay, we go for Snake Eye Ash. Ash. Don't Maxi me now, please. That would be... That is way too smart! That's not fair. That's way too smart. That's messed up. I have to kill them. I have to try and kill them. What the hell am I doing? Otherwise, both my hand traps are dead next turn. Sniper. Don't call him a sniper only because they made one correct play, chat. That does not necessarily mean they're sniping. I mean, yeah, we have to push through it. We can't, like, I can't do anything. We have to push. Veiler. Yeah. No, they have probably more Veilers in the deck, but, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, god damn. Okay. So how do we put 3k onto the 8k onto the field? What would that be? Promethean, Flamberge, that's 57. We need like 23 on top. Celine is on the table. Ah, one is already in graveyard. I should have put another. Oh. Summon them in attack just in case. Oh, right. They are kind of big. No, man. That's way too early, by the way. Oh, come on. Impulse? I'm molding. Shit. Shit. Now, it's looking kind of dire. Deck him out. That's 23 more. Are you listening to what you're saying? How big is Ambler Whale? There's only one Link monster. Promethean 3k. Ambler Whale double kills the Nibiru. Celine. I don't have the because I didn't make Link Karibo, but even then it wouldn't have been enough for Celine into access code line. Wait, Celine to no, it was enough. If I had made Link Karibo, it was enough attributes. Damn. No, I know. It would be Flamberge outs 1 and then access code pops 3, but now access code only pops 2. Revive Veiler? Wait, can Celine revive theirs? No, your hand. No, you're chatting. It doesn't do that. Damn it. Oh, they got more. My bad. I don't think it's doable. How many cards? 13 only. Hey, only 13. Dude, double HQ? Yeah. Oh, droll yourself now. I hate you. Wait, take? What do you want with that? Dude, I wish I had a little more time. Wait, what have they cooked? What kind of disaster has happened? What? Yo! How is this winnable? Somehow. Maybe it's not. I don't know, man. But how are they gonna get Ita played into Nib? This is criminal. This is actually that was crazy. That was crazy. Nah. They had 13 cards in hand. Dude, didn't they open Ash, Veiler, Maxi? They play 1 Veiler, 2 Ash. Oh, they had 1 Nib somewhere in there. Dude, they playing cross-out ratios without cross-out. I'm just realizing. What is that ratio, dude? You're not playing cross-out. Oh, man. Oh, good lord. Anyways. We got time. I have one more in me. I have one more in me, but I need to leave in time today because we have Valentine's Day evening set up. So this one can't go too long. Ay. I mean, technically it's not that bad. As long as it's just one hand trap, we're fine. Normal summon, the powerful effect Veiler. Do I make Link Karibo right away? I guess making Link Karibo right away plays around Imperm or Veiler. Because then I can dodge with Link Karibo and I can use Crossout for a later hand trap. No Nib? I mean, I have Crossout for Nib. As long as it's just Nib, then I'm fine. Boom. I don't play that for Crossout, but I don't mind that, honestly. I don't care. That is technically one subtle advantage of the hand trap version over board breaker version, is that Sinful Spoil original. Like, if you pair that with any normal summon, it's technically combo, right? It's usually a very vulnerable combo to hand traps, but it does work. Which is a little bit, like, that's relevant sometimes, right? If that hand was like, if that was like enemy controllers or droplets or talents, that kind of thing, it would not work. Which is worth pointing out, at least. No hand trap can stop Snake Eye, it's scary. I mean, that's just not true. That is just straight up not true. The deck passes to a lot of hand traps, actually. The one thing that is scary is that the deck has a good amount of extenders to play through one hand trap, but that's like most modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks do that with an extender. Like, if your Yu-Gi-Oh deck just dies to one Imperm all the time, then your deck's just bad. Are Nib and Bell good against them? They're solid. Depends on the circumstance. Like, not every single time, but usually. Brash00, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate the last minute support. Thank you. Ooh, Diabellstar? Diabellstar. I think it'd be better. I could cross this out. I think it would be better, though, to cross out the spell card. Because they would have to send for cost first. Like, we get the cost out of them for free. Oh. Do that. Okay with that. Crossout is obviously phenomenal in the mirror match, especially now on, like, especially if you can use it on Diabell Star or Wanted or the original spell. Like, one other thing I could do, unironically, is I could just go for, okay, they have the spell already. I could go for my IP with Flamberge and then just cross out Flamberge, which, like, crossing out Flamberge is so sick. Yeah, they already have it. But I'm going to cross this one out. I could also maxi, but I'll just cross this one out. I don't think they have a way to play through this, because, I mean, 2 cards in hand, and I have Imperm as well. My opener was just a little bit too broken, I think. And Droll, it's just a matter of they opened double Droll, so they did draw 2 hand traps, but they're just playing ones that are not very good, I think. This also doesn't, like, Talents is not live at all yet, which is important. Ok. Snake Eye Ok. Okay. Dude, you actually could have played theoretically. One more? Nah, I don't have the time for it. I'm sorry. I don't have the time for it. I would if I had it. I would have had it, but it is time to go. The deck is cool. I've been enjoying it. The list is solid. I want to experiment with the cards more though. So, before we hop off, quick reminder of the next couple days, because there's a lot of things happening in the upcoming days, not only on my usual streaming days, but also on the days where I normally don't stream. So tomorrow we're doing some Art of the Customer. Dude, we just started. Calm down. Appreciate the 16 months. Eventually, at some point, maybe. Tomorrow we're doing some deck building, mostly. We can maybe take some more look at Phantom Nightmare release results, do some deck building, maybe some experimentation as well. You know, I'm thinking like Runic Snake Eye, all that kind of stuff, you know. Friday we're doing the NA Master Duel Invitational that I'm taking part in. I'm going to be streaming in my perspective. I'm going to have to let you guys know exactly what time we're going to be starting the stream. I don't know exactly off the top of my head now. But I'm going to be live on Friday for my perspective of the I believe I'm going to play against Jesse towards the end of the event. I don't know the exact order off the top of my head right now, but I think we're like match number 4 or something like that. So I'm going to be streaming my perspective throughout the entire tournament. Then I'm going to take a break on Saturday. And then we're going to have another bonus stream on Sunday because I'm going to be live watch partying the UDS tournament that they're doing with all the UDS champions, the playoff on Sunday. I'm also going to be here to watch party that together. So all that. Right. Monday depends on how long the UDS thing goes. If I'm like really tired after it, and because NA events usually go like way after midnight for me, sometimes I have to skip the day after because it's too much. But hey, no time for you to complain because you're getting 6 out of 7 days, 6 out of 7 streams this week. Come on. Hey, if I need the Monday off, I'm gonna take the Monday off. I don't know yet, but we'll see. I'll tell you that on Sunday then. All right. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. Let me see who I can host today. Wasn't Farfa gonna go live? Oh, he is. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you guys again tomorrow. And yeah, until then, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Peace.